Yeah, good evening, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? I know we're all scattered out. You can feel free to move down. I don't bite, I promise. If you can hear me, I guess it's fine. My name is Avis Williams, and I am the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction for Tuscaloosa City. And I'm so glad that you guys are here tonight, and definitely look forward to sharing some great information with you and getting some questions, answers, and some concerns addressed. I do want to recognize our two board members that we have here. We've got Mr. Marvin Lucas and Mr. Harry Lee. You guys wave at them, hey. But they do represent districts 5 and 6, and so glad that they could join us here tonight. And we will get going. I've got a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to go through. But before I do that, I hope that you all saw the table that we had set out front. It did have some good information for you about Let's Talk, and it also had a little half sheet where you can write a question or a comment or any concern that you have along with your contact information if you want to do that. So I have several other folks here with me who will also be available to take questions. We'll be more than happy to stick around after the meeting if you have questions that weren't addressed during the actual meeting. So I'll introduce our team as we move forward and be prepared to answer your questions. So I think I'm ready. Okay, so this is going to be a fairly short presentation. In the interest of respecting your time, we definitely want to get you out of here, but at the same time, make it meaningful and answer the questions that you have. As I mentioned before, we will have some administrators on hand to answer questions and so forth at the conclusion of the meeting. So we're going to start off by showing a short video clip that gives you some information about why we're here tonight.
Schools are the heartbeat of a community, and that's why when it was time to reform the Tuscaloosa City Schools, the community's input was crucial. It wasn't just parents and school leaders participating in the process. The entire community was represented in an effort to create a better future for Tuscaloosa students. In fact, hundreds of them. After a year-long process that included public input, the board unanimously approved the new Integrated Curriculum, Facilities, and Demographic Strategic Plan in December 2015. Public engagement played a key role in developing the final plan, and for Superintendent Dr. Paul McKendrick, he says that is a source of pride for the community.
Community engagement was incredibly important in order for this to get done. Over the 22-month period, we took extra steps to make sure that we had comments and input and feedback from all community stakeholders. This is a moment of pride for our system, and with that, we need to continue working toward realizing and bringing this to fruition, and for that, I thank our community.
This ambitious $160 million plan focuses on 3 areas: curriculum, investments in staff, and facilities.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Excellent job.
The Tuscaloosa City Schools believes that a well-rounded educational program must educate the whole child. That means music and art classes the entire school year for all elementary students, world languages at the middle school level. And to promote success at the high school level, a variety of opportunities have been designed to improve the transition from middle to high school.
I'm excited about the plan. I think it's courageous. I think it's progressive. That will allow each kid in Tuscaloosa City School to have a variety of choices for their educational experience.
On graduation day, that means our graduates will be prepared for college, career, and life. Not only will we invest in our future, we will invest in our staff. We'll implement a 3-point plan to recruit, retain, and reward the best teachers in every classroom. Whether bringing in engaging national speakers to share innovative practices, to inspire existing teachers, or finding new teachers to join this dynamic team, Tuscaloosa City Schools is committed to quality teaching and learning in every school. This is the embodiment of our motto: always teaching, always learning. None of these things can happen in a vacuum. Renovations at all schools include space for hands-on learning and facilities to prepare our students to live and work in an ever-evolving global society. This will include several new facilities and creative upgrades in all schools to create state-of-the-art learning environments for all students.
This is great because every child in Tuscaloosa will have an opportunity to be college and career ready. We have a long-term plan that puts us at the top of the state for educational excellence. I would encourage everybody in the community to go online and read the plan, or go to your schools and read the plan.
To read the full plan, visit TuscaloosaCitySchools.com. Share your questions, comments, or concerns with us through the Let's Talk section of our website.
Okay, so that is an overview of the plan. And as the video indicated, if you go to our Tuscaloosa City Schools website, there is a button that you can click on to view the entire plan. And there's also a place where you click if you have questions and you want to submit questions and so forth. So let's dive right in and talk about the attendance boundaries. So realignment of high school attendance boundaries will be implemented this fall. And so some of you may already know about where your student is going because of a letter that you received in the last couple of weeks. Realignment of 2 elementary schools communities will be implemented this fall, and it only impacts a small number of Arcadia students. And if those are your students, then you would have also received a letter about that, because that direct communication for families that impacted has been sent out within the last couple of weeks. So what does this mean for your child within the boundary shifts? So we do have what we call grandfathering, and so if your student is a rising 5th, 8th, or 12th grader, then you should have received a different type of communication that's given you the option to stay in your current school. And so, in other words, if they're currently a 4th grader, for example, they can stay at their current elementary school and not have to worry about any zone or boundary changes. And the same thing if they're a current 7th grader or a current 11th grader, then that would be the case as well. All rising 9th, 10th, and 11th graders will attend high schools based on the new attendance boundary zones. And of course, we've got maps here and at all of our schools. And again, on the district website, there are buttons that you can click to see what our current attendance zones are and also what the new attendance zones are. And this is an example of, or not an example, these are the changes that will be in effect as of 2018-2019. During that school year, of course, we'll have some new construction in place, and with the opening of the new schools that will be in place, these attendance boundaries will be in effect. And I'm going to just let that stay on the screen for just a second so that you can take a look to see each of the high schools at the top, and then all of the feeder schools that feed into each of those schools. The magnet school is not on there because, of course, we accept students from various locations. And if you have any questions about that, again, we'll be here after the meeting to dig a little deeper with that. Next slide, please. Okay, so district school choice. And a lot of you may know that we are looking at a policy for district-wide choice. This will be in effect as of the 18-19 school year, and a recommendation will be made to the school board in early April. The Alabama Accountability Act, this state law requires parental notification of options based on this Accountability Act. And this is based on Central High School. Current Central High School students have a transfer option. And if your high school student is attending Bryant or Northridge and would have been zoned or rezoned to go to Central High School, then that choice will impact you, and letters will go out to those families within the next couple of weeks, no later than March 1st. Yeah, and you'll have until May 2nd to make that decision. So by March 1st, if that impacts you, you will receive a letter, and then you'll have some time to consider what you want to do and then make a decision. So our resources will follow students. So in other words, we will make sure that all social work services, special education services, equipment and so forth that your students currently have, they will have those same services at the schools that they are attending with the changes of the plan. Transition programs are being developed at all of our schools to work directly with parents and students who are impacted. And this is done at the school level, and so principals will be in contact with parents to ensure that you know about meeting times and where you can get more school-specific information about those transition services. And this would include meet and greet opportunities for students, meet and greet opportunities for teachers, for schools that are merging. And also as part of that, we're making sure that students aren't going to be adversely impacted if they are athletes or participate in extracurricular activities. You know, so in other words, certain things that we might normally do this time of year in terms of interest meetings or even tryouts, we are going to make sure that that information is communicated in a timely manner and that the timelines are adjusted so that all students have opportunities to participate. Some of the global highlights for all students, we will continue with our digital transformation. Project-based learning, which is learning by doing. We've already started this and we'll continue this. Increased exposure to career technical education opportunities. If you've never visited TCTA, it's a phenomenal facility. And many of the opportunities that our students have there will be highlighted over the summer, and there'll be also information at our middle schools in terms of what's offered for TCTA. Summer bridge programs to emphasize reading and math, and this is something that my team and I are super excited about, and we're working on now to get the plan in place and that information out to students and parents within the next couple of months. Some of the elementary program highlights include additional pre-K classrooms, enhanced system-wide focus on literacy and proficiency in writing. We have a team that's been working on a 3-year literacy plan. And the team consists of central office staff as well as teachers and administrators throughout the district who are working on that. Music and art classes throughout the school year for elementary teachers, for students, and a continued expansion of Project Lead the Way. And Project Lead the Way is a STEM-based program, STEM being science, technology, engineering, and math. And it's just hands-on learning that's in elementary schools is infused in our science and math classes. And in middle schools, it's actually a class that students take. Some of our middle school program highlights include staffing to support what we call the middle school concept. How many of you went to a junior high school when you were in 7th grade or 8th grade? I went to a junior high school too, and junior high schools are typically designed to prepare students for high school, which is a good thing. But with the middle school concept, it's about teaming, it's about cohorting students, and it's about exploratories. And as much as we certainly want to prepare kids for high school, we also want to make sure that they have a variety of different opportunities so that they can make some of those decisions about what they might want to do in high school and beyond. And that's what the middle school concept is. And so we do have a team that's working on developing some structures that will be in place in all of our middle schools this fall. Exploration of world languages, and that it might be Spanish, it might be French. Within the next couple of weeks, students will have an opportunity to request courses. And for this year, middle school students will have an opportunity to request foreign language courses. 8th graders, for example, may sign up for a Spanish class. And in taking this class, it's actually a class where they can earn high school credit and enter high school 1 year under their belt in terms of a world language. Electives and a curriculum that support pre-engineering, robotics, coding, and computer science. We will be planning this type of curriculum during the 16-17 school year, and so that will be implemented for 17-18. High school programming highlights include summer bridge programs, and this is again just to support students. For this summer, one of our greatest areas of emphasis is ensuring that students are supported in their math classes. Particularly, we want to make sure that all students have the foundation that they need to be successful in Algebra 1. And then to move forward as they go through 10th and 11th grade to excel on the ACT. enhanced offerings in CTE, particularly for grades, International Baccalaureate for grades 9 and 10, and performing arts. And at Central High School, we are adding what's called the Middle Years Program, which is grades 9 and 10 of the International Baccalaureate program. And this is a program that's in place at the Tuscaloosa Magnet School. But if your student is not attending that school, but you're interested in the International Baccalaureate program, then I encourage you to look at Central High School's website and get more information on that application process. Career academies will be established at our high schools. And again, this is just for us to be able to really work with students for them to determine, based on their likes, based on their strengths and so forth, what do they want to do beyond high school. Virtual high school and dual enrollment, these are already in place, but we are looking at expanding opportunities for all students for those two areas. Within human resources, we're very excited about being able to recruit, retain, and reward high-quality teachers and staff, and this is for all grade levels for all schools. Adding instructional staff to support English language learners. We have a growing population of families where English is not the first language, and so we certainly want to provide the necessary supports for those families. Additional professional development will be provided for teachers. And some of this will start in the summer. That summer bridge program that I mentioned earlier is not only to help support student academic achievement, but it's also to provide professional development for our teachers. Some other human resources highlights: increasing the number of National Board Certified teachers. We currently have about 51 teachers within Tuscaloosa City Schools who have a National Board certification. And one of the things that we're excited about doing is giving more opportunities by supporting both financially and from a time standpoint, teachers who are interested in going through this process. And it's a really rigorous process, and generally when teachers go through it, they're kind of isolated and going through it by themselves oftentimes, but by having more of a cohort type structure, we'll be able to better support our teachers as they pursue that process. Mentoring support and professional development for new teachers. And again, this is something that we definitely have in place already, but we're looking at ways that we can enhance it by utilizing our National Board Certified teachers and other exemplary teachers. Pay increases have been proposed for all staff over the next 3 years. Some of the major construction projects, and we have this labeled as major because this is some of the bigger projects, include the new North Middle School, a new East Elementary School on the Arcadia site. All 3 high schools will get some major construction as well. And again, I encourage you to go and read the plan, because the specifics by high school are listed, actually by school, are listed within the plan. So if you do go online, click on that button to view the entire plan, as you look through the various pages, you can actually see school by school what some of those construction changes will be. Within some of our elementary schools, Skyland, MLK, Central, and Oakdale will also have some major construction that will take place. All schools will receive some extensive renovations, including new playgrounds, upgrades to improve energy efficiency within all of our buildings, improved science labs, and facilities that are more conducive to project-based learning. We've been working directly with architects who will be helping us design state-of-the-art learning environments for our students, which is really exciting. And when you see some of the mock-ups that they share with us in terms of what teaching and learning can look like, it's really quite impressive. Also auxiliary gyms for high schools and improvements to all of the athletic fields at our high schools. Some upcoming meetings that you might be interested in include on February 25th, high school parent meetings for impacted students. So you'll attend a meeting at the high school for which your student will be zoned for in the fall. And at those meetings, you'll get more specific information about some of those transition services that I mentioned, and questions about dates that you may have and that sort of thing. On March 7th, our English language learner parent meeting will take place at central office. And then on March 24th, Southview Middle School parent meeting will take place at Eastwood Middle School. And all of those meetings that are listed there will take place at 6 p.m. Wow, I'm on the final thoughts already. Am I going too fast? We'll have some time for questions then, that's a good thing. Okay, so final thoughts are just read the plan. It's on the website, and like I said, it's a lot of great information, and everything that I just talked to you about it's in there, and the details are in there. Administrators are on hand tonight, and we'll take your questions, but I also encourage you to share questions and comments on Let's Talk. And there were some cards at the table out front that had information about Let's Talk. And it says we have maps in the lobby, but the map is actually right here. So